Hello, everyone. My name is Teacher Joe from Happy Elementary School, and today I would like to share this book with you. Many of you might already know it. Proper name for the book is Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll, and it's where a lot of the story from Alice in Wonderland came from. So it's a very old story, but I think there are very strong morals that we can pick up from it. So let's read a little bit. I'm going to jump ahead to chapter 2 and read some of the story for you. Chapter 2, The Garden of Live Flowers. I should see the garden far better, said Alice to herself, if I could get to the top of that hill. And here's a path that leads straight to it. At least, no, it doesn't do that. After going a few yards along the path and turning several sharp corners, but I suppose it will at last. But how curious it twists. It's more like a corkscrew than a path. Well, this turn goes to the hill, I suppose. No, it doesn't. This goes straight back to the house. Well, then, I'll try the other way. And so she does, wandering up and down and trying turn after turn, but always coming back to the house. Do what she would. Indeed, once when she turned a corner rather more quickly than usual, she ran against it before she could stop herself. It's no use talking about it, Alice said, looking up at the house and pretending it was arguing with her. I'm not going in again yet. I know I should have to get through the looking glass again, back into the old room, and there'd be an end of all my adventures. So, resolutely turning her back upon the house, she set out once more down the path, determining to keep straight until she got to the hill. For a few minutes, all went on well, and she was just saying, I really shall do it this time. When the path gave a sudden twist and shook itself, as she described it afterwards, and the next moment she found herself actually walking in at the door. Oh, it's too bad, she cried. I never saw such a house for getting in the way, never. However, there was the hill full in sight, so there was nothing to be done but start again. This time she came upon a large flower bed with a border of daisies and a willow tree growing in the middle. Oh, Tiger Lily, said Alice, addressing herself to one that was wavering gracefully about in the wind. I wish you could talk. We can talk, said the Tiger Lily, when there's anybody worth talking to. Alice was so astonished that she could not speak for a minute. It quite seemed to take her breath away. At length, as the Tiger Lily only went on waving about, she spoke again in a timid voice, almost in a whisper. And can all the flowers talk? As well as you can, said the Tiger Lily, and as and a great deal louder. It isn't manners for us to begin, you know, said the Rose, and I really was wondering when you'd speak, said I to myself. Her face has gotten some sense in it, though it's not a clever one. Still, you're the right color, and that goes a long way. I don't care about the color, the Tiger Lily remarked. If only her petals curled up a little more, she'd be all right. Alice didn't like being criticized, so she began asking questions. Aren't you sometimes frightened at being planted out here? Nobody to take care of you? There's a tree in the middle, said Rose. What else is it good for? But what could it do if any danger came? Alice asked. It says boo woo, cried a daisy. That's why its branches are called bows. Did you know that? Cried another daisy. And here they are, all began shouting together, so the air seemed quite full of little shrill voices. Silence, every one of you, cried the tiger lily, waving itself passionately from side to side and trembling with excitement. They know I can't get at them. It panted, bending its quivering head towards Alice, or they wouldn't dare to do it. Never mind, Alice said in a soothing voice, and stooping down to the daisies who were just beginning again, she whispered, If you don't hold your tongues, I'll pick you. There was silence for in a moment, and several of the pink daisies turned white. That's right, said the tiger lily. The daisy are as worst of all. When one speaks, they all begin together, and it's enough to make one wither to hear the way they go on. How is it you all can talk so nicely? Alice said, hoping to get into a better temper by a compliment. I've been in many gardens before, but none of the flowers could talk. Put your hand down and feel the ground, said the tiger lily. Then you'll know why. Alice did so. It's very hard, she said, but I don't see what that has to do with it. In most gardens, the tiger lily said, they make the beds too soft so the flowers are always asleep. This sounded a very good reason, and Alice was quite pleased to know it. I never thought of that before, she said. In my opinion, that you never think at all, the rose said in a rather severe tone. I never saw anybody that looked stupider, Violet said, so suddenly that Alice quite jumped, for it hadn't spoken before. Hold your tongue, cried the tiger lily, as if you ever saw anybody. You keep your head under the leaves and snore away there, till you know no more what's going on in the world than if you were a butt. So I'm going to stop here for now, but I really like the story because it's very creative and it's a very interesting dream world that Alice is in, where it questions her logic as well as her maturity. So some point morals we can get from the story is as Alice goes on her journey, in a sense, she gradually grows up and experiences new things and takes on new viewpoints from all the different people that she meets, which we all do in our lives. And also, it 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 helps with imagination because there are lots of fantastical elements of the story and lots of outside thinking that we all can use in our everyday lives to solve lots of problems. Anyway, I'm going to stop here for today. So once again, the name of this book is Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. And if you guys have the time, I hope you guys can read this book too, okay? Wonderful. So let's stop here.